Hey Slackers, it's May 10th, 2016, over here with another article, Business Insider Tech, how a data scientist hacked his way to becoming the top match for 30,000 women on OKCupid. This guy must be a slacker. Let's see what it says here. And this is by Brent Range. As a grad student working on his thesis, Chris McKinley spent some of his free time on OKCupid. The free dating site figures about two people's compatibility by how they answer specific questions. The more similarly answered questions, the higher the chance of a good match. After striking out, he began to use a supercomputer he had access to through his grad school to analyze OKCupid's question data. He was able to separate the women around him into 7 groups, figure out which had the highest chance of compatibility with him, and which questions were most important to the women from that group. Once he knew the key questions, he answered them honestly and became the top match for 30,000 women and began receiving a huge increase in unsolicited messages. Though popular mathematically, McKinley found he had to deal with women's expectations that the two were perfect matches. He combated this social expectation by going on efficient and depersonalized dates, one after the other, until he finally found his true perfect match on date number 88. Here's a video of McKinley explaining his dating hack. So I just want to say here that, this is smart. I guess, a lot of guys will wish that they could do this. You could sort of do this with Craigslist or even Plenty of Fish. Women give you a lot of information on basically how to come at them. And so long as you don't go about it the wrong way, and you kind of follow along, you can increase your chances of getting responses. You can also increase your chances of more dates, because the more you sort of fall into the routine, and you'll see, I kind of outline in my book about how, I was using Craigslist and I was learning from the women who I would actually go out on dates with. I might not have dated them long term, or it might not have turned into anything serious, but during our dating episode, we would go out, we would talk, we would exchange information, and, I would data mine them on, what kind of responses they were getting, what they were receiving from men, what they didn't like, ask them about their bad dates and stuff like that. And, you'd be surprised at things that you would find out that are just everyday common mistakes that dudes make that ends up, shooting themselves in the foot or blowing their chances altogether. So, this guy using a supercomputer he had access to, basically did some good data mining and took probably good notes to see what was it that he could do to boost his chances. And then look at what happened. He boosted his chances so much to the point where, hey, he was receiving a huge increase of unsolicited messages. When it's like that and you receive messages as a man, it makes it easier for you, because, hey, you got women hitting you up and they're making the approach, and let's see what type of icebreaker they'll use. Let's see what type of conversational piece they'll use to, open up conversation with you. And it's just very interesting when the shoe is on the other foot and you get to experience that side of things. Otherwise, you're always in pursuit, sending out messages, not getting anywhere. And for a lot of guys, that's frustrating. So there's a video here and he goes on to explain what he did. I'll play a little bit of it and you can watch the rest. Links down below in the description box. I'll catch you in the next article.
How do you become the top match for 30,000 women on OKCupid?
This is my secret life.
This is my secret life. This is my secret life.
I love this one. It's about a math whiz who hacked his way to true love.
I applied to graduate schools in applied math and was fortunate to get a full ride at UCLA. In my 6th year, my funding ran out. I had to live on $400 a month instead of $1,200 a month. So I decided I would move into my thesis cubicle. I would spread out a little foam pad on top of my desk to sleep. I just spent all my time working on my thesis, which involved using a supercomputer that I would remotely connect to. I would kill time on OKCupid. OKCupid is a free dating website. Between any two users, it generates a match percentage on the basis of your answers to all these multiple choice questions. I'd answered a couple hundred questions and I got 0 messages per week. And so that's what I started. I started using all my supercomputing time analyzing OKCupid match question data. The first thing I did was gather a lot of data from OKCupid and mine all that data for patterns. I learned that when women in Southern California go online and answer questions, their answers clump up into one of 7 different bumps. So I ended up finding like a group that looked like the kind of person that I would like to date. I wrote a bunch more combinatorial optimization code to go and figure out which questions were most important to this group of people and figuring out which of those questions I felt comfortable answering truthfully. All of a sudden I became the top match for over 30,000 women